everybody?
Yep, it's 7 and 1. 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 1.
Okay.
Anyone want to read it?
Now concerning the thing whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll
Right
take
there.
that. Yeah, I know. Stop right there. You're right. What? Oh, I should be on.
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't go too far from it. Though.
I'm not leaving. I'm not going that far. The scripture says they wrote to Paul about this, about men and women, right? Married, unmarried, widowed, divorced, all those different things he wrote about. But in verse 1 of chapter 7, it says, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. It's the word touch that messed us up. Because if I just touch a woman, what does that mean? I could be helping her out the car. I could holy kiss to her. I could, help her in any way if I touch her. But it can't be that touch if the next verse says, nevertheless, to avoid fornication. That touch is something else. I read what the Greek word for touch, because they give a few of them. One says to fasten to. So don't fasten yourself to a woman.
Just keep holding on, huh?
Now, though I can see where he's going, lay hold of is another definition. But that's not the one. The one, it uses a different form of the word. It means to set aflame. It's good for a man not to set flame. Her desire. Don't stir her in such a way. Because it didn't say your wife, it said a woman. So, of which there are many women, it's good for a man not to touch her in such a way. One other says cohabitate, and the other says intercourse. So it's good for a man, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because
They might touch you and say that much.
Huh? There you go. See, that's where we were all. Touch, that's the easy word.
Mine read sexual relations.
See?
Oh, it do?
Read
Man,
sexual relations.
So,
But
yeah.
you want me to read?
yes, please.
I believe you.
What Bible is it from?
This is online, so
Okay.
I don't necessarily know. It just reads the Holy Bible.
Okay.
So it reads concerning married life, but first, now for the matters you wrote about, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman, but since sexual immorality is occurring, each man should have sexual relations with his own wife, and each woman with her own husband.
See? So now we kind of brushed away all the other stuff that's there.
Just get down to it.
Yeah, let's don't go walking through the church. You have her, because you like doing what y'all are doing. That's why it said to avoid this sexual immorality or fornication. You man should have your own wife, and you wife should have your own husband. There's another scripture of the Bible, and I'll pull it up. It said, "Let every man drink out of his own cistern or fountain." It's like here's a well of fresh water, but that fresh water that's in that well or that fountain is on your property. No one can just come up and start drinking. Anyone coming up and start drinking, they are the intruder. they have trespassed, right? And what of course, we don't take very kindly to folk trespassing on our property. If you really get it, men's love language deals with providing and protecting. That's why I said men, they don't come too close because they already know. Men don't get too close to each other because they know any challenge is going to be met unless he's scared. And then if he's scared, he even becomes more dangerous because he may shoot first. Depending on, that's what that is. So Paul writes, don't touch a woman, nevertheless to avoid fornication, have your own wife and have your own husband. Then it says, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, her due. What it says is, let the love that's due her, he's supposed to provide her. And likewise also the wife unto her husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but his wife. Boy, this fornication thing. Most folk people of the world think it like this. If I can't get it here, I'm going to go out there. You don't know what's out there. You still don't know what's out there.
It's more prevalent now.
See? But if it comes home, it affects everyone at home.
Yeah.
We don't really, it's as if we don't really think about this. I remember it was years ago, the woman, I remember it was a news report to a bar to visit this lady. And I think they blanked out her face. She was very attractive woman. But the woman had full-blown AIDS. And it was men. It wasn't one man. It was men who were, quote unquote, picking her up at the bar. And she would have relations with them, and they would go home with carrying this AIDS virus to here's his wife and his children. He brought this home. All I'm saying is, to avoid this type of stuff, have your own. Where am I? Husband, he don't have power over his wife. Over his own body. His wife does. The wife don't have power over her own body. Her husband does. But it also says, defraud ye not one another. Don't deprive one another. Don't deprive one another. I remember a brother had a conversation over the whole church. He had everyone there, married and unmarried and what have you. It says, defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time, that you may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not in your incontinency. When you're weak, here he comes. Let's not get these things twisted. When we are weak, Satan comes around. Let your mind wander. He'll show up. So, prayer and fasting. Make sure, and you're doing this for a time. A husband and wife may disagree, but the scriptures are supposed to bring us together. If they don't bring us together, we're not on the same page. I believe the Bible, but this is what it says, how I'm supposed to love you and how you're supposed to love me. If we're not doing that, we're not reading the same book. Then Paul says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. why would that all men were even as I myself?
Okay, let me ask the question. So if you feeling this way, you should start fasting and praying.
It says defraud or don't deprive each other except by consent. So we have, if we're husband and wife, we have to consent that we're deprived. We're going to not do certain things. Here's the thought, and I remember this class specifically. They talked about if you want this woman, you're going to have to, you can't just go, come on, let's go. You have to woo. Yeah. See, it's weird to me that I have some fellas that I remember, they was, man, you know, I'm married to her, I can have all the time I want. No, player, don't give back your player's card. Don't the thing that you wooed her with, the all of the flowers and stuff, they don't stop just because you said I do. You don't remember when you said I do how much stuff you have to do. Because you have to also keep that fire, that flame that you set afterward.
Continue the battle.
Because if you don't continue to keep it a certain way, it gets cold. It says,
say it get dull. So what's the difference?
Same
That
difference.
still make you wonder. Oh,
see? But see, dull, what we try to do is we don't want to exhaust all the possibilities of the thing. There are simple stuff you can do. We don't even think that way. Oh, you know, she should do this, she should do that. Well, dude, what about you?
Right.
We just have to think the way the scriptures talk about a man giving his wife due benevolence. It is that particular treatment of her that keeps her a certain way. She has to feel safe. She doesn't feel safe, what's she gonna do? How's she gonna feel? If every time my wife saw me, my head like that,
like for me.
every time she walked by, because there are people who try to catch your husband's eye. That's natural. Your man walking with you, and she has walked by, and she looks you dead in the eye. Gave you all kind of looking. And if y'all catch eyes, and your head start turning, your wife sees that. Don't think she doesn't see that. What do you think Matthew chapter 5 says? If you look at a woman to lust after her, you've committed adultery already in your own heart. So your reason, I mean, you can see her all day long, but your reason for looking is different. Oh, believe me, there's a bunch of women out. They look in certain ways. And if we haven't thought about what needs to go on with us, we down there break our neck. I know, I've been, when I was in college, that was scary. How many women can we? It's like I'm a kid in a candy store. Look. And just like they were smiling, I was smiling. Hey, girl, how you doing? You know, then come to find out, I looked a certain way about that time. I guess I was a little bit lighter, been in the weight room a little bit more, and I had real long hair. My hair was down my back. Think about this. And I thought I did no wrong. Big smile. I thought I was that guy. And so when they walked up, I didn't realize, bro, you could mess up here. Because as my mother used to tell me, don't bring home anything you can't take care of yourself. Got a little scared then. So we have to think about what Paul is saying to us to keep ourselves. When he says, I would that all men would remain even as I myself. That's verse 7. What was Paul? Was Paul married?
I never heard
No. Nope, he wasn't married. You think Paul, when he was Saul, had a lot of women?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you say that?
When he's kind of rich
Uh-huh.
over a lot of stuff.
Paul had certain things Paul had. That's what he was.
Up there status.
Yes, he had status. Yes, he did. When Paul says, I would that every man would remain as I am, what do you think he's talking about?
Status. I mean, it's trying to be.
Paul was single and?
Answer.
No.
No.
Single
We,
man.
don't, we can't say. No, he had a lot of status. I know the wind is blowing against this back door.
Oh, that was that because
You got
see,
it.
I keep looking because I'm ready to book.
Don't be ready to run.
I thought people were just coming in.
Yeah.
Not from that
Yeah.
way.
I didn't know where it was coming from.
Well, yeah. Anyway,
Wait, cause I'm still confused.
I'm going back.
So if you Christian or well, if you ain't Christian, you don't care.
But if you should, for your own
but
sake.
Most
But
of the
go
people
ahead.
of the world don't. If we Christian and we start feeling that way, then we supposed to conduct ourselves and go to
Well,
fasting and praying. I'm
well-
trying to figure out where this fasting and praying come in.
Well, see, but that's
Before
he's
it
talking.
happened.
Now he's talking to married couples.
Oh,
talking to married
okay.
couples now.
So they married couples.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Now, as far as you as a single lady, single person, if you start feeling that way, it's important now that you fight those type of things. You have to fight that in you. You can't just go, okay, come on.
That's why he said,
Now, this is go
be
ahead.
like him.
Yeah. He was not only single, he was celibate.
Yeah.
That wasn't happening. So he had to fight himself.
Who, Paul?
Paul had to fight him.
I thought you were talking about the Lord. I was like, what he had to fight?
Oh, wait now.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was still him.
Let me get that scripture for you. Let me get that scripture, because that is one of
Y'all
the.
tell me to shut up.
No, I love it.
Right.
That I like. I like to hear stuff like that. Let's see. For we do not have a high priest who cannot be touched by the feeling of. Let me go back. We do not have a high priest which cannot be touched by the feeling of our infirmities.
He was still him.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. Oh, ain't you funny? Yeah, that. Go get Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15.
4:15.
Uh-huh.
For we have not a high priest that cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmity. Is that infirmity?
Yep, infirmity.
But was in all points tempted, like as we were yet without sin.
So he was. There are three temptations that Satan has. It's three. You know what they are?
Thus,
Lust of the what?
Flesh.
Flesh. And what's the other? Lust of the what?
Pride.
And
Yeah,
something of that.
that's the pride of life. There you go.
Yeah.
And there's another lust.
Some of that.
Yeah, lust of the eye.
Yeah.
And that's what he has. Now the problem with those three temptations, he comes at different angles. He got his three different temptations, but three different angles. And it's many different angles he can come at. In the Garden of Eden, he dealt with three different temptations. That's all he has. Eve had to be caught by all three. And all you need to get to mess it up is some little 5-letter word called doubt. Not faith, doubt. How do you put it? Now, the serpent was the most crafty of God's creatures. Because they were already told what not to. And don't eat of this fruit of this tree. Right? Already told. Satan said, have God told you you can eat out of every fruit of the garden? And she said yes. That's abundance. Imagine here we are in the garden. It's 6 of us here, and let's say, 8 of us here. And there's all these trees in the garden. God said you can eat out every one. Every chair here is a tree. But this pillar is the one you can't eat from. Don't eat of this tree. Because in the day you eat thereof, you shall surely die. So everyone had it, right? We all got the rules, right? Why was Eve this close?
I mean, she had been wondering about it all the time.
Friday night.
So here's Satan. He says, have God said you can eat of every tree? That's abundance. It's abundance. Yeah, except for that one. So why are we concentrating on
But you can't have it.
That one when you got all.
why would I look at the one I can't have when God gave me all of these? If the pillar sitting in the middle of the room over here, if that's the tree of life, I can eat of that tree and live forever. It's forbidden. As God said, he said, yeah, every tree of the garden we may freely eat, but of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, which is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, we may not eat it, except if you eat it, you shall surely die. Satan, first thing he said was, you won't surely die.
No.
For God knows, in the day you eat thereof, you shall become as gods, knowing good from evil.
Right.
So she saw, that's lust of the eyes, she saw the tree was good for food, and it was a tree to be desired to make one wise. There's your pride of life, right? It's the one that he forbade us to eat. Lust of the eyes. Lust of the flesh, here we come. She ate, and she gave to her husband with her. God never moved. When she ate, God didn't even move. It's what he did, though. She was fooled. He wasn't. He went freely. All I'm saying is, when we look at what Jesus had to deal with, he had to deal with those 3 temptations. We have to deal with them too. Doesn't James? I think James says it. Every man is tempted. It's James chapter 1. Every man is tempted when he is drawn about by his own lust and enticed. If my own lust wants it, and now you've dangled it in front of me like I can have it, here I go, running after it. Well, Paul had to deal with the same thing we do, he had to do. There was always a fight with our free will versus God's will. So when we get those type of feelings, because that's how they come up. What we want, when we want it, the way we want it. And someone dangles it in front of us, here we are, we're tempted. Why? We like that. Let me go on. I'm going through verse 7. But every man hath his proper gift of God, or from God. One after this matter, and one after another after that. Another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide, even as I, single and celibate. Why would he say that? Why does he want this? Would he say that I would want that every person who is a widow and unmarried to stay as I am? Why would he tell you that?
Does he learn something?
Because he looked,
yourself.
huh?
Not to be saved. You know, not to be tempted by that pride of life.
tell you what.
Have what you want when you want it.
Man gets married to his wife. Wife marries husband. Who are they trying to please? Each other. God is not in. He's in the picture, but it's almost split between I'm trying to please my wife. God is telling me how to do that. She's trying to please her husband. God is telling her how to do that. But if she's not there in the picture, it is a not cluttered, it's a straight way to God.
So it's in the marriage is the covenant with the Lord as one, and then as a single individual, you are in covenant with the Lord, not another
Right.
individual.
So now the covenant is between you and God, and no one else is there. But remember now, we all have those other things, those urges. Now, if it's a great urge, God said you can go get married. Why? Because I'm not going to burn, as in Romans chapter 1, I'm going to burn in my lust for another man. Brother want a woman. God does not knock you down for that. He says, get married. You go on. But if they cannot contain, verse 9, if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. We dealt with this one too. Burn is a word used alongside concupiscence. It means lust. If I'm burning in my lust for women, females, it leads into me looking to lust, me setting a flame to a young lady, never even wanting to marry her, just I set this flame. And don't think it's just one female that's happening to. I may have a bevy of female going, hey, text him, call him, text him, meet him somewhere. All that's happening. And what does it lead to? I'm burning with passion, which leads to my condemnation in the burn the other way. That's condemnation. So it leads to the fornication and even the adultery and all the rest of that stuff I can get involved with, because all manner of sexual immorality can happen right there. Now, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. Y'all don't split over nothing. I used to make this joke. The man told his wife, he said, look, I want you to bring me 2 eggs. I want one scrambled and I want one hard boiled. She brought the eggs to him. He got mad and he divorced her. They were like, what happened? She bought you, she did what she wanted. He said, yeah, but she scrambled the wrong egg. And that was how they thought. I can put her away for anything. She gained weight.
You scrambled the wrong way.
Huh?
Egg is an egg until you do
Yeah.
something with it.
But he needed a reason to divorce.
That was his reason.
Oh.
Something that's simple.
Oh, okay.
All I'm saying is, at one time,
Get out of
right. They gave writing of divorcement. I remember we were in a class, and Latrice, we were in class together, and we talked about Moses allowing the men to give their women or their wives writings of divorcement because of the hardness of their hearts. They were abusive. They were abusive. There was no joke to these men. They were abusive. So in order to keep it right or keep it peaceful, give her a writing of divorcement and get her out of there. So, let's see, where am I? I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not him depart from her husband. But if she leaves, verse 11, if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. This gets, I'm approaching some thin ice. If you're going to go for any other reason, he only gives 2 reasons from the Lord and one from Paul. And he's allowed to say it. One is death, one is adultery.
I thought it was 3.
There's a third. I'm getting to it.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting to it. Let's see. So if she goes with somebody else, you could have went back to your husband for anything. It's just, you could have went back. But to the rest, he says, I speak I not, but not the Lord. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. Don't leave her, even though she's not a member of the church. She's not, because remember, he's writing to the church at Corinth. Don't let him put her away. He shouldn't give her a writing of divorcement. And the woman, verse 13, which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by his wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. What it's telling you is, if you two dwell, if a believing husband and an unbelieving wife, or vice versa, if they are content to be together and are well together, don't put her away just because she's not a member. Don't put him away because he's not a member. That's not how this goes. He says if they're content to be together now, even their children are holy. Make sure I've covered everything I need to cover here. Yep, and yep.
Okay, suppose you married and you don't get rid of him and he don't get rid of you, but you learn how to live together.
Right.
That's what it's saying.
That's what it's saying. Because you have to learn. You have to learn. Men and women, when they get together, if you get together on the wrong pretense, that's how it goes, the whole thing. How it starts is how it ends. He said, here's my unbelieving wife with me. And she's an unbeliever. But we're cohabitating, we're married. If she's content to be with me, I can't put her away.
The marriage takes precedent over anything.
That marriage is solid in this sense. Even our children are holy. Because you don't know whether or not you're going to save them. Because you could, by your attitude and by how you act, you could draw that individual to Christ. Quick story, my grandmother, and on my mom's side, my grandmother and my grandfather. If you ever see it, if I'll show you a picture of my granddad, you got one picture of him. He got this big hat on. Underneath that hat, his hair was straight. He had a ponytail stuck in his back collar. At a gospel meeting, and I would love to know who the preacher was. Love to know that. They were taught the gospel. And she got up going to the Lord. He looks at her and goes, where you going? And she said, I'm going to Jesus. He said, but where you going without me? He was baptized that day too. So you don't know what can happen.
Right.
Now, yeah. Verse 15. Someone read verse 15.
But if any unbeliever departs, let him depart a brother or a sister. He is not under the bondage in such cases, but God has called us to peace.
So, here's what the scripture says. If the unbeliever leaves, divorce, the unbeliever, let him.
Even though y'all married, just let him.
Unbeliever, he leaves, let him. Then he says, let's see, where this verse says 15. A brother or sister is not under bondage. Bondage is marriage. That covenant has been broken if they leave. Let them. You're not even under bondage in those cases. God has called us to peace. Got two scriptures. And I may have more. I'm going to make sure too. Let's see. I got Romans 12 and 18. I have Romans 14 and verse 19. Y'all get this. Y'all get these. Romans 12 and 18, Romans 14 and 19. I want to say 1 Corinthians, I want to say 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 33. And then Hebrews chapter 12, verse 14. I believe that's all of them. So Romans 12 and 18, Romans 14 and 19, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, and Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 14. I want to read what it has to say.
18, you ready?
Yes.
If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
Okay. So as much as if it's in you, you can live peaceable with all men. How about verse 4, chapter 14, verse 30?
19.
Yeah, 14 and 19.
Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace, and things wherewith one may edify another.
So these things talk about us living in peace. You don't want a stew beef marriage. You stew about one thing and beef about the other one. You don't need that. I believe Solomon, if I'm not mistaken, was it Solomon that said, "I'd rather live on a rooftop or in a cave or on a branch than deal with a contentious woman." I'm like, wow. You'd rather live there. Wow. That woman must be pretty rough. But an abusive fella is the same way. Verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, physically abusive. What are the other two? The other two I was looking at. How about 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33?
But God is not a God of disorder, but of peace, as in all the congregations of the Lord's people.
So, God is a God of peace. If we're of God, we should be at peace. And too many times what we do, we want to, what we say, exert our dominance. And when we do this, people start feeling some type of way. That's what happens. Some people are quiet when they rebel, but they rebel. Some people are noisy when they rebel. Still the same rebellion. They just go a different way. That's why it tells us you don't know whether or not you're going to save your husband or what have you. But the nature of this is, if he left, he was leaving. What's Hebrews chapter 12, verse 14 say?
Make every effort to live in peace with everyone and to be holy. Without holiness, no one will see the Lord.
So, if we're in the Lord, he called us to be holy. And we're going to be holy. Without it, there won't be I want to see the Lord, not being unholy you won't. We can't get to do this. We're supposed to live in peace. Even with our spouse who does not believe.
Okay, but I'm confused. So why do he get if he want to leave, you should let him leave. But if you married, you should. Ain't that still like being a sin? Or
He said
and you still gotta. I mean,
he said if he departs,
be out there messing around.
well, if he out there messing around, isn't that adultery?
Well, okay. Yeah, that's adultery. But if he leave, you say it's free.
It's
Let him go.
supposed to. Yeah, you gotta let him go.
So if you're speaking of the one that is a believer and the one that is an unbeliever and the unbeliever leaves, I think that because of the union, because of the belief of the believer, it covered the unbeliever. But if the unbeliever left, then you say he was not under the...
He's not in bondage anymore.
He was not in bondage. He's not in bondage because he wasn't really even covered. He was covered by the believer.
Right.
So now that he left, he's living in sin.
He's uncovered. He left. And what if he goes and joins himself to someone else? He joins himself to someone else, that individual has now committed adultery. See, when we join, most people don't get this, and it's scientifically proven. There's things that happen in intercourse and those type of things that affect the woman, that stay with her. There are spirits, we don't understand that spiritual union. She has joined herself to this one. All that stuff is her being connected to. And it happens the same way with a man. He's connected to. That intimacy is a God intimacy. It's spiritual. That's a spiritual intimacy. The folk don't understand the nature of it until it goes too far or went too far. Even now, today, there are some folk right now who they've done this. She's been with this guy. They ask you, what's your body count? That means how many people has she been sexually related or sexually connected to?
Or him.
What do you want to know, for? Everything is business.
Men are concerned.
We ain't married.
Well, I understand.
What's your body count?
Well, look, I tell you what, there's a double standard. I will say it. There's a double standard. They look at it different. If Darius had a high body count, he getting slapped on the back. They patting him on the head. Boy, you dog. Right?
Yeah.
You know,
But for a
You a
woman,
whore.
yeah,
there's a double standard. Woman's body count is high, fellas are like,
She ain't been around.
women want to know about a man's future. What you do. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Men want to know about a woman's past. Where you been? Who you been with? Is anybody I know? What y'all do?
Yeah, but somebody asked you that might break y'all up in fur. I wouldn't want to tell nobody when y'all
Of course you wouldn't want to tell him, but the nature of it is that you remain holy and keep yourself, because we talk a long time. Oh man, she's so beautiful. There's no way she's not. She don't have a guy.
Yeah,
No, she gotta have somebody.
yeah.
And I told my son, I said, she pretty, huh? He said, yeah, go speak it. Go ask her out. What? No, go ask her out. But she pretty. I don't care. That's the one everyone's intimidated by. Go talk to her. Why? She's alone on a Friday night. Y'all could be out.
Did you go talk to him?
Yeah. Yes, he did. That's why I told him this is where you can do these things. Most people don't get it. Women choose. Women choose. You can stand up there all day long, man. I was picking her out and picking her. She's already chosen you, dummy. All you need to do is walk up and don't say nothing stupid. But the nature of this is, if he's an unbeliever and he leaves, he's sanctified. He's sanctified with his wife. And if he just, nah, I can't do this.
Yeah.
That covering that was over him, he has now left that covering. Look at verse 16 of 1 Corinthians chapter 7.
Okay, supposedly, well, you both sinners, but the one of you come Christian, do the husband or the wife, is they covered then? Because, I mean, I saying I'm sinning, and then I turn my life over to God, like you say. And so
Your past sins are gone.
Holy?
Yeah.
Your past sins are gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. But because he is with you, he is sanctified with you. He's set apart with you. If he departs, he is no longer sanctified, no longer covered. He has went back into the beggar elements of the world. That's where he is.
And then that's good too, because sometimes you can both be sinners and he comes safe, and you can kind of woo him over to the Lord.
Well, but that's the nature of it.
Yeah.
Verse 16 says, "For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife?" You don't know. There's some folk who have been around their spouses who, because of their conversation, because of their attitude, because they are set apart, their minds are a certain way, she is not, or he is not like he used to be.
He is influenced by her. There's certain things that he used to do, now he won't do anymore.
Right.
You know, because he's concerned about her to a certain extent as to, you know, that she has turned her life over.
Right. I tell young men, hey man, if you want to do something, lead her to Christ. What you mean, lead her to Christ? You lead her to Christ, that must be who you're following. If you're not going to follow him, she's not going to follow you, especially if she's looking herself. She's not.
What you mean looking herself?
She's looking at Christ herself.
Say that again.
If you're single.
Like looking for Christ. If she's looking for Christ herself. Yeah, my man not following Christ. Like,
Oh, okay.
Lead her to him. Because that should be the person we're chasing. See, the very nature of this, that's why he told you, you don't know whether or not you'll save your husband, and you don't know, old man, whether you'll save your wife. He has called every one of us into a right relationship. Everyone has them, make sure I don't go too far. Everyone is called into a right relationship with Jesus Christ. Everyone. The problem happens when we reject the relationship. We can reject the relationship. You ever had a friend that all of a sudden you started figuring out that friend was not really a friend to you? And
Boyfriend or whatever.
it doesn't make a difference. I just said a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, fair weather friend.
Like I could give
You know, you start figuring out this might not be.
the person I need.
Well,
Or the what
Or
I
the
wanna
person that you
marry
want
or
to be
with.
around.
Yeah.
Because he's saying friend as in friendship.
Yeah,
So you may not even want to be
I'm
around
saying
that person.
Friend, relationship,
yeah,
whatever.
but
Yeah.
he's telling you, you don't know whether or not you're gonna save your wife or your husband. You have no idea. But if your attitude is right, they're gonna begin to look at you.
They're gonna give it to me.
They look and they see what the influence is. If a woman is holy, and look over there, wait a minute, that woman, I can't mess up. I don't want to mess that up. You used to go out with the boys all the time. Where you going? I'm going out with the boys. I'll be back. When you come back, when I get back. And he'll go out with the fellas and he'd go and he'd tie one on or go get drunk and stumble back in the house. You know, and get emotional and become abusive and all that stuff he does. And they go, yeah, but you can't leave him. But if you keep a certain way, he might feel guilty about where he been, what he's doing. Wait, she did this for me? Guilt now sets in. I treated her this way?
That thin line.
Huh?
That thin line.
Yes, ma'am. We don't, but we get to the point where we listen to the world, what the world says. The world say a whole lot of stuff to you. Oh, girl, he can't take it, he can't buy, he can't do, he can't do. Wait a minute. That's the world. And if you begin to listen to what the world says, you'll be just like the world. I'm going to go back. God hath, verse 17, but God hath distributed to every man as the Lord hath called every one. So let him walk, and so I ordain in all the churches. Let's break this down. God has distributed to every man. Every man has an opportunity. He's given to us all gifts. We all have a lot of gifts. To every man, as the Lord hath called everyone. He called all of us by the gospel. Everyone. So let him walk. If God has called you to peace, if God has called you to love, if God has called, that's how you're supposed to live. He's called us to holiness. We're supposed to live that way. So with all of this divorce and remarriage and all of these different things, he makes it clear how we're supposed to be. He had to, imagine this, he had to write all this. Everything that you're hearing, they wrote to Paul about. Or he heard from the house of Chloe. Imagine that. There's a list. And someone wrote, there's fornication, and man got too many wives, and this happened, and this is what's going on. And this is going on in the church. This is not, we can all talk about the world, but we're talking about the church. Even today, there's a whole lot of things going on in the church. If you don't believe me, walk out of here and go to another congregation.
You ain't gotta walk out of here.
You don't. You don't. All I'm saying is things are going on all over the place. What's important for you is that you personally be holy. He didn't want us to be unholy. Who's coming if we act like the world? Who? I love coming to church to see all the drama.
Yeah, I hear that.
I'm gonna run into the church. It's all hypocrisy. They're all hypocrites. Come on. We can point it out.
I'm gonna show you a real soap opera.
See? But there are so many things going on in 1 Corinthians.